Oh my god, it's a bit warm today. I don't know why I keep filming these videos in 34-degree weather when it has been like 20 degrees every other day of the week, but hey ho, the sacrifices we make. Hello, my name's Lizzie. You're watching lizzie.makes, my crafty channel where I like to talk all things knitting, sewing, just general craftiness. So today I want to sit down and go through my summer knits. I've been a very busy woman the past few weeks. I haven't made a video in about a month just because I've been on holiday, finishing uni, life's been busy, but I have been knitting a lot. So I just wanted to sit down today and talk through everything that I've been working on over the past few weeks. I can't remember what the last project that I spoke about on this channel was, so I might be repeating myself, but so I'm going to do the sort of classic knitting podcast format. I'm going to start with finished objects and then go on to whips and then acquisitions and then anything else that I want to sit and natter about. My iPad is here, so if you see me looking down, that's why, just because unfortunately I've made quite a lot of things. I've got 6 finished objects, which is quite a lot. And I can't remember the details of all of them. So the first summer knit that I made of the year, I feel like I spoke about this already, but I'm going to show you anyway, was the Ophelia tank by Starcrossed Knits. Here she is. I do like this, but I haven't worn it, and the reason being is it's too big for me. So I did all my measurements, I hit gauge, like everything was fine, it's just too big. It doesn't fit how I wanted it to fit. I wanted it to be quite tight and like fitted, and it's just kind of big and loose, and on me I know like a sort of loose knitted vest is quite a look that a lot of people go for, but not really my vibe. If I want a top, I either want it tight fitting, like negative ease tight, or 2XL. So it's not quite the right size. I am thinking of frogging it. I'm either going to frog and reknit in probably 2 sizes smaller, or frog and reknit as a completely different project, which I'll come on to in a bit. For the lace, I don't know if you can see, like that. For the lace, it's both written out and has a chart, so really good sort of if you want to dabble your toes into the world of lace but you don't quite want to commit to a full project. So that's that. I made this in the yarn Ester by Permin, which is 55% cotton, 45% merino. I think that's the way around it is. It's either that or the other way around, and I don't know what colour this is in colour 26. The yarn is gorgeous, so when you're working with it, it feels quite almost like rustic, but like in the way that cotton yarn is rustic, not in the way that wool yarn is rustic. But when you block it, it just softens. It's beautiful. Like, I can wear this next to my skin quite easily. I love it. I'm gonna be honest, that you're gonna be seeing this yarn quite a bit, so just pre-warning. I've literally used 2 yarns for 90% of my summer knits, so that's that. This is the second time I've made this pattern, and the second time it's come out too big, which is a shame because it's beautiful, it's so nice, but hey ho, you live and learn. I don't know why I didn't learn the first time, to be honest, but I've learnt again. So I might remake this, might not. Yeah, not worn it. I literally wore it for the photos and that's it. The next summer projects that I finished, so if you watch I don't know if it was my last video or the video before my last video, I can't remember. I cast on 3 of my summer whips, 3 of my summer whips in a week, because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to make first, and this was the first one out of that video that got finished. So this is the Lemontini top by bluueforyouu knitwear. It's backless. I did mine stripes. The pattern doesn't come in stripes, but I did mine stripy, and it has I-cord for the straps. I like this. I wore it on holiday, so I went to Greece, and it was nice for a holiday. Not 100% sure I'd wear it in the UK. I don't know why, it just feels like a holiday top, which I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't like the idea of having an item of clothing that's just for a holiday. You know, I like my clothes to be as year-round as possible, but I don't know, there's something about it. I think it's the sort of, it's not very secure. I don't feel very secure in it. That might be what it is. So for this, I use Lana Grossa Elastico in brown and green, 156 green and 58 brown, and then the yellow is 41 yellow. In the pattern, it calls for ribbing down the edges, which I omitted because whenever I sort of do inbuilt ribbing, like sort of ribbing as I go in a pattern, my tension is just so whack, like it just looks terrible. So I just decided to not bother doing that. And then the bottom also called for ribbing, and I also omitted that because I don't know, I feel like ribbing is for like jumpers and big cozy things, and I don't want it on a light summer top. That's probably just me being me, but hey ho. On the bottom I did a no roll stockinette bind off where you sort of pick up the purl bump from 2 rows below, slip it over, knit, yada. But then I also did an Icelandic bind off, so the stretch of the Icelandic bind off kind of omits the efficacy of the no roll bind off. But if I'd just done a bog standard bind off, I probably wouldn't have been able to get it on. So there's that. I did make some other mods to this pattern. So I made a size 2, cast on the number of stitches it told me to, and then I was like holding it up to myself, and it just did not give me enough side boob coverage at all. So frog that, cast on I think 6 extra stitches across the front, and then when you cast on, so it's top down, so you cast on at the top here, knit down with increases, knit down with increases, and then you cast on with backwards loop across the back, across the bottom. I just cast on 6 less stitches along the bottom to account for the fact that I'd cast on 6 more up here. I do wish I'd done waist shaping on this. I didn't do any, and it's kind of, I know it's very negative views, but it's still, I think it could have benefited just from a little touch of waist shaping. I've worn this a couple of times, wore it a couple of times on holiday, haven't worn it much since. I don't know, I just feel like it feels a bit exposing even though I'm fully covered. I think it's a me problem, and I made this specifically because it was backless, because I have a big back tattoo and I like getting it out, and I want people to see it. I paid a lot of money for my back tattoo, but every time I put a top on that's backless I just feel like really exposed, and maybe that's me being old now, but that's that on that. Started it on the 3rd of July, finished it on the 22nd of July. So I remember I was in Greece and I literally finished the I-cord and like weaved in all the ends on like my first day of holiday, and then I wore it. I don't think the pattern is worth £7, I'm going to be honest. It's a £7 pattern, which is kind of crazy when you can buy like a full cabled colourwork lace jumper for the same amount of money. There's a few typos in it. It's not very well written. I think the yarn estimations are off. Like it recommends 2 balls of sadness gone line or tin line, I can't remember, or 5 balls of knitting for olive silk. I don't know. There's a bit of a theme in some of these summer knits where I see the pattern, get really excited, cast it on, make it, and then don't actually really like the finished result that much. I'm trying to break that habit, but it's not going very well. Next, although this isn't on my Ravelry, but I'm pretty sure I actually started and finished this before I started and finished that Lemontini top. This is just very unoriginal but cute, a simple poncho. So you've probably seen these doing the rounds on Instagram. It's literally you knit 2 rectangles and then seam them together a bit of a weird, like you seam one cast off edge to one knitted edge on one side and then the other side, and you get this kind of asymmetric poncho, and I love this so much. Honestly, I was making it and I was like, am I ever going to wear this? Am I just making it for the sake of it because it's trendy? No, I've literally worn it so much this summer. So I made mine from this pearl mohair. What was the hair? Pearl mohair from Madrigal. This one in the colour pistachio, and I held it with the, what yarn brand is this now? I'll put it on the screen. It's called Make It Pelchin or Bloomchin. They have loads of different ones and I get confused between them all. But this is the one that's got like little glass beads in it. It's a 100% viscose thread with little glass beads, and then I held these together, and oh my god, this is just the perfect summer layer. It's like, I don't know if it's catching the light, it's ever so slightly glittery, it's obviously sheer, it's double layered, so it's nice and see-through, it's lightweight, it folds up really small, so I just like shove it in my bag, at the bottom of my bag, don't care about it, and then if I get cold, like in an evening, if I'm at the pub or at a barbecue, I can just bung it on and it keeps me so warm, but it's not too hot. Amazing, 10 out of 10. I adore this so much. The yarn for this was one of my birthday presents from my mum, or from my parents, but my mum bought me this yarn and it is beautiful. It's so nice. This mohair has got to be the best mohair on planet Earth. Honestly, it's soft. It's just so soft, so fluffy. Like, I could put it on my neck, not itchy in the slightest. It's gorgeous. It's so nice. I'm a bit of a baddie on a budget. This mohair is £10 a ball. I would never spend £10 a ball on mohair for a full jumper, but I think this used 3 balls, and I know it's my birthday present, so it's allowed. I feel like mohair is one of those things where you do get what you pay for quite significantly. I followed the aver.paula like free poncho pattern that she put on Instagram. It's not on gauge, I literally just used it for the measurements. Knitted myself a little gauge swatch, recalculated how many stitches to cast on, knit until it was the right length, and then just seam them together. So I just used it for the measurements, really. Could not recommend. If you've been thinking about making a poncho, do it. I could not recommend it enough. Like, oh, I'm obsessed. This is probably, I don't know, I like the other things as well. I say this is probably one of my most favourite things that I've made this summer, just because it's so practical, and like I say, it folds up so small, it weighs nothing, so you can just shove it in the bottom of your bag. 10 out of 10. Amazing. So I am trying to speed through these a bit because there is quite a lot of them. So next up, I think I started this before the next one, but then finished it after, but I'll go for this one. So this is the Sunny Tea by lison.knits. Once again, it was in my casting on 3 whips in a week video. I have also once again made this in Permin by Esther. I do have a ball left over. This is in the shade Sage Green. It's in the colour 22. It's like this really nice, slightly mauled sage green. Esther by Permin, not Permin by Esther, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. This is my finished Sunny Tea. I love this top. It's so nice. So I did do mods to this pattern as well. Hit gauge exactly with the yarn. Cast on, did everything to here, as the pattern says. I did size down, so I think my recommended size was a size 3 or 4, and I made a size 2 because looking at people's Ravelry projects, people kept saying it came out massive, and some of them did look really big, so I was like, right, I'm gonna actually aim for negative ease, just literally like 1 centimetre of negative ease. I think my bust is 91 centimetres? I don't know, I work in inches with body measurements. 91, 92 centimetres, and I made the 90 centimetre one. But I did add body waist shaping, so I started, I think it was about 26 rows down, because this literally sits right under my armpits. So I don't want to hit the microphone. Yeah, so I started sort of here, where my bust starts to naturally decrease, and then I did decreasing on at the beginning of a round and half of round every 6 rows. So 4 stitches decrease every 6 rows 8 times. I think it was that way around. And then I literally just did 2 sets of increases, knit for a bit, and then did like 2 sets of increases for the hip, and then bound off. I did a much more successful no roll stockinette bind off on this, and that's because I bound off, what's it called? Is it just a standard bind off? I keep on calling it a bog standard bind off, but that's definitely not its name. But I think this gives a really nice edge. I don't know if you'd be able to see. You can see the little bumps where you sort of slip the stitches and then the bind off, and it just gives a really nice solid edge. Does mean it's quite hard to get on because this edge is not stretchy, like barely at all. I think that's me stretching it, but I can get it on enough, so that's the important thing. For the sleeves, the pattern says to knit like 3 or 4 rows. I think I knit 16 rows just because I really hate proper cap sleeves on my arms. I just don't think they make my arms look very nice. I get quite self-conscious of my arms in a cap sleeve. I'm not self-conscious of my arms normally, but as soon as I put a cap sleeve on, I hate them. So I made it just more of a normal sleeve, knit a few stitches longer. But I absolutely love this pattern. It is just a raglan with German short rows, but because the raglan lines are they're set quite high, they only start a couple of stitches apart, set quite high. I think it's really flattering, like it comes down here rather than here, like a lot of raglans. It sort of goes this way, and I just think it's really nice. Couldn't recommend this pattern enough. I made this as part of the official knit along, which I think finishes next week or the week after. There's quite a few people in the knit along that have literally not even split for sleeves yet, and other people that finished in 5 days. So it's interesting to see how quickly different people knit. I've never done a knit along before, so it's quite nice, community vibes. I want to make another one of these. So what I was saying before about my Ophelia tank, because these have both been knit in the same yarn, and I think they use almost exactly the same amount, 2.5-ish balls of this yarn. I am so tempted to unravel this and re-knit it into a sunny tee, because I do like this and I do like how it fits. Maybe I'll save it for next year. I am a bit over summer knitting now I've done so much of it. I want my big woolly thick jumpers back, but it is far too warm to do that so at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was my sunny tee. I really recommend this pattern, love it. I've worn it quite a few times. Oh, I didn't say, I started that on the 4th of July and finished it on the 4th of August. I did go on holiday for about 2 weeks in between that and didn't take it with me, because I finished like the main body and then all I had left was like picking up the neck and knitting the sleeves, and I was just like, I'm not taking that with me, it's not worth the bother. Next is another lison.knits pattern, and this is the tied top. It's a little halter neck. It's really hard to show you. Show you it upside down, it's easier. This is once again made in Lana Grossa Elastico, and if you recognise the colour, that is because it's the same as the I-cord from my Lemontini top. I like this top. I haven't worn it because it's finished, but it's way too short for me. Like, if I'm knitting a top, I want it to be like at least as long as this. I don't know if you can tell, but like I like my tops to sort of hit my belly buttons here, hit sort of at the hips, and this maybe comes to here. It's like a bra. So I've ordered 2 more balls of this yarn, so I can finish it off. It is cast off and finished at the moment, but obviously I'm just going to unravel that and extend it down. So I once again made a size 2. I ordered 2 balls of yarn for it, which is what the pattern recommended, but then I decided that I want to do the I-cord in this colour, so that used up quite a lot more yarn than I was expecting it to, so it's very short. But I'm really excited for this to be done because the fit of it, like on my body, is really nice. I added, again, waist shaping. I don't know if you'd be able to tell. I did waist shaping on this one too. I'm obsessed with waist shaping now. I can't believe like the difference that it makes. I mean, I can believe the difference that it makes, but it just makes such a difference. Like with the fit, and I always end up with like weird floppy backs and baggy backs, and I just hate it. But with the waist shaping, you don't get that. It's great. I love it. Who would have thought darts in clothes? It's like we figured that out a long time ago. Again, no roll stockinette bind off on this, but it's not been blocked, so it's rolling at the moment. I like the way you do the straps. It's like an I-cord, but it's not an I-cord, and it just makes them quite firm. Like, obviously they're still stretchy as knitting, but it makes them quite firm and feel quite sturdy. So I enjoyed the strap construction on this. I made this so quickly. There's nothing, it's not finished, there's nothing to it, but I started this on the 26th of July and finished it on the 31st of July, which is quite quick. And this was my sort of holiday cast on, holiday cast on. So I made this in Greece, like just sat on the bus, going around the islands, sitting in the bar, etc. And now it carries the memories of my wonderful holiday that I had. Second to last, and arguably most excitedly, I've been looking forward to this pattern release for months, is the Quartz top by Natasha Crawford. This is mine. Once again, made it in Lana Grossa Elastico in the shade Granite Grey? Hold on. Graphite Grey. 160. I started that on the 9th of July and finished it on the 3rd of August. I really like this. So this is a custom, what's the word? This is a made to measure pattern. So you do a gauge swatch and then you take all your measurements, put them in this calculator, and it calculates everything for you. I don't know if my yarn was a bit stretchy, because obviously Lana Grossa Elastico is stretchy because it has elastic in it. It's 96% cotton. Oh, I don't think I said that. 96% cotton, 4% elastane. So it's basically cotton, but it's stretchy. I think this pattern is sort of written for non-stretchy yarns like Sadness Gone Leaner, I don't know, etc, etc. Like linen and cotton yarns. So it has a lot of, you do a lot of little German short rows in the shaping to give it enough space to sort of curve around the bust, but I think because my yarn is stretchy, it's actually overcompensated and now it's a bit too big. So I need to thread some elastic through the top and the front and the back, see if that works, to sort of get a tighter fit. It does fit, but like if I move around and wave my arms around, the side that's not got a strap just goes and then my boobs out, and I don't really want that. Not when I'm walking around in public anyway. So I'm gonna put some elastic in the front and back, see if that works. If not, I'll frog back to the underarms and re-knit. So this is in the pattern that tells you to do this. If it's too big, re-knit it without the German short rows or with less German short rows. So I'll give that a go as well. But I really like this pattern. I think it's really flattering. I'm really trying to not hit my mic here. The little bottom asymmetric hem is just so cute. I think it's really unique. Like, you see a lot of like normal vest patterns, t-shirt patterns, etc. But you don't really, I've never really seen a knitting pattern like this before where it's asymmetric, and I love it. Well done, Natasha, on your first pattern release. It was such a well written pattern as well. Like, you could tell a lot of love, care and attention had gone into the pattern. I also adore the way the bust shaping works. So you do increases in the middle. So this bit here is where the bottom of your boob goes, so like your nipples like here. So you do increases up here, but then you don't decrease up here, you decrease at the side. So it creates this really nice like seam line here under the bust, and I just think like it's so flattering. I love it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. If you're not sick of summer knitting yet, I do recommend this Quartz top. And again, it's another one that I can show off my back tattoo in, so I do like this one. But yeah, I'm just gonna need to add that bit of elastic or re-knit it, depending. See what happens. See what the elastic does, see if that works. Hopefully it does, because I can't be bothered re-knitting it. I like it how it is. Sorry if I look progressively more and more sweaty as this video goes on, by the way. It's 33 degrees right now. And I've had to turn my fan off so you can hear me. My last project, my last finished object, this one's a bit mental. I don't know what came over me. I made blouse number 4 by my favourite things knitwear, which is this right here. She's gorgeous. I made this in 5 days, and it's a sport weight blouse with sleeves. I think I just went into a bit of a lull with this one. I really don't know what happened, but I did some mods, if you can't tell. So I did the German short rows in the pattern in white with the increases, then counted, once that was done, counted how many stitches I had left, and then cast on in the dark grey, and then knit 2 together on both needles. Is that a 3 needle bind off, but without the bind off part, to connect them, and then just continued following the pattern in the grey all the way. And then for these bottom hems, once I got to the length that I want, I counted how many stitches I had, cast on in white, knit a few rounds, knit 2 together, and then actually did do a 3 needle bind off, but with Icelandic bind off. I can't talk today. It's the heat, it's getting to my brain. I think it's quite cute. The Icelandic bind off kind of folds in on itself and then exposes the, sorry, there's hairs everywhere, exposes the white part a little bit more. I did the same on the bottom. I also added waist and hip shape into this pattern as well. So I decreased, I think I started quite soon after I split for sleeves, decreased down to here every 10 rows, knit I think like 16 rows, and then did 2 sets of hip increases. I do wish this was slightly longer, but I was playing a game with yarn chicken. I had 4 balls of the yarn, the Esther by Permin again, and the white is what was left over from my Ophelia tank. I had 4 balls, and I literally think I had about 8 meters left by the time I'd finished casting off. So it was tight, but I won, and I'm very proud of myself that I did. Yeah, I do wish it was like maybe 3 or 4 inches longer, but hey ho. So what happened, there's a bit of a tale with this one. As I was knitting, it's been hot, it's hot, so I just thought my hands were getting really sweaty constantly, and I kept having to go and wash my hands. And then I was like, why are my hands so dirty? Like, my hands just felt grubby all the time. Eventually I realised that the dye was coming off the yarn and going onto my hands. Like, my needles felt sticky, my hands felt sticky, it was horrible. I realised it was either the spinning oil or the dye, but probably a bit both, but it was making all my fingernails grey, like really grubby, it was horrible. Once I figured that out, I just didn't really want to knit with it anymore. So I've used this yarn in 2 other projects and I've loved it. This was my first kind of negative experience with it. Before I split for sleeves, I was panicking about how much yarn I had, so I ordered another ball of yarn from Rito Hobby. However, by the time I was finished, because I did finished off the body last, I did not want to touch this yarn anymore. I was over it, I was sick of it, it was making my hands feel horrible, so I just cast it off and blocked it. And then when I blocked it, the water literally turned black. That is how we have ended up with grey contrast rather than white contrast. So my white all got dyed in the blocking process, which is a shame. I think it still looks nice, it's just not quite as contrasty as I would have wanted it to be. So that was a bit annoying. I think I had to wash it like 5 times. I used washing up liquid for the first wash because I thought it was spinning oil, and that's how you get rid of spinning oil. And then after that I was using warm water, because this is super, you can put this in the washing machine, so I knew it wasn't going to felt. Just warm water and like rinse in. And then for the last one I did it in cold water, like really cold water, with wool wash, because obviously that has the lanolin in it. Because I'd completely stripped it, I wanted to just give it a bit of that bounce back. So it's turned out really nice and I do really like it. I do wish it was longer, but I do really like it. However, I do now have another ball of this grey yarn on the way. It's not come yet. Rito always seem really slow to ship stuff, but that's another story for another day. And now I've washed it, even if it's the same dye lot, which I imagine it won't be, but even if it is the same dye lot, it's not going to be the same colour. I can't add it onto the bottom because it's going to be a different colour, and it would also, I'd wash it again and it would bleed at a different rate to how this would bleed because this has been washed, and just a nightmare. So now I have a ball of this coming, which I have no use for. It's way too hot to wear this at the moment, way too hot, but I am excited for it to cool, I'm excited for it to cool down so I can wear it, but I also at the same time don't want it to cool down because I really like the hot weather. Maybe not as hot as it is today, but like I really like this sort of 26, 27 summer weather. I don't want it to end, but it is going to end. A side note, am I the only one that finds it absolutely mental that people, I keep watching videos, I watch a lot of like underconsumption videos and stuff. Why are people posting about autumn and fall already? It's the 12th of August, 13th of August today. It's August. We've got a whole month of summer left. Why are we thinking about autumn, guys? What's wrong? Why don't we enjoy this season we have while we have it? Just me? No? Okay. That's it for all my finished objects, thank God. They're all quite small, simple projects. Only one has sleeves, so I feel like I do get them done a lot quicker. And I've finished uni, so I've had a lot of time to knit. I've been on holiday, been travelling a lot. I've had a lot of knitting time. I don't work full time when I'm not at uni, so, you know, I can spend hours and hours every day knitting, which I do. But that's why I've managed to finish so much stuff. I don't want this to be like I don't want anyone to like feel inadequate. I just have a ridiculous amount of spare time at the moment, so that's why. What was I gonna do next? Oh yeah, whips. I have 2 whips at the moment. One of the 2 is slightly abandoned, and I'll explain why, and the other one I cast on yesterday, which I'm very excited about. We'll start with the one that's slightly abandoned. So this is the Sadie sweater by Ozetta, and I'm knitting this in a 100% cotton yarn, and that is why it's been slightly abandoned. So it's this beautiful like cornflower blue colour. I've been struggling with this. 100% cotton yarn. It's DK, but it feels like quite a thick DK, and I'm knitting it on 4mm needles. But oh my god, the pain that this jumper gives me is off the charts. But if I spend a day knitting on it, I'll wake up the next day and my trap on my right side is like in agony. I have to take ibuprofen and like massage it and use hot water bottles, which it's not healthy. So I'm kind of been doing a small bit at a time on this, but it's kind of a shame because I do really want like a nice cotton jumper, especially going into autumn. I'm going to duplicate stitch on it. I don't know if you can see that orange motif behind me. I'm going to duplicate stitch that on it, or like a big one, but I can't bring myself to work on it because of how much pain it causes me. But I also feel like I've knit too much to go back on it at this moment in time. I've joined under the arms, knit what, 5 inches. So I've got a long way to go, but I also, I don't know I don't know what to do. That's that. For the yarn on this, I'm using the Yarn Smiths Cotton DK in, I think it is Cornflower Blue. This yarn's really nice actually. It's cheap as chips. It's like £1.20, £1.29 a ball. It's really soft. I mean, I don't really knit with cotton that much, just again for aforementioned reasons, so I don't have much experience of it, but this is really soft. I just want to rub it on my face. It's gorgeous. Gorgy. Yeah, I just wish I could snap my fingers and this project be done, or it didn't cause me pain. And I've tried so many ways of mitigating the pain, like knitting with my elbows on a pillow, like loosening my grip, which I try and do. I'm quite a tight knitter. I have to like consciously loosen my grip on this. Switch to metal needles so the stitches slide off easier. Just loads of things, and none of them seem to work. So that's semi-abandoned. Maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't. We'll see how brave I'm feeling in a few weeks. My other whip that I cast on yesterday is this. There's not much to see. It's literally not even a back yoke yet. But this is the, what's it called? It's not on my Ravelry. The Phoenix sweater. Hold on, let me check. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, it is. This is the Phoenix sweater by Morecaknit. This is recommended to be knit in a DK held with a lace. I am knitting mine in a fingering held with a lace, and I'll explain why in a moment. But I cast this on yesterday. This pattern's really cool because, I mean, you can't tell in this yarn, but you're supposed to knit it in like a cotton or something with like really nice stitch definition, and then it has these like little, the way you do the increases creates these little like swirly sections. You won't be able to see it on this. There's no stitch definition whatsoever. I bought this yarn to knit the Marielle blouse. You know it, you've seen it, we all love it. Last week I made my swatch, and then I cast on and I knit probably about as much as I have now on this, and I was hating my life. I was not enjoying myself, and that is the 3rd time I've cast on the Marielle blouse. I've never finished it. I've never got past the back yoke because I just don't think lace knitting's for me. That's what I've realised. I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's so nice. I just wanted a big, dark purple, warm, baggy, lacy jumper. Gorgeous. The thought of knitting a whole jumper in that lace pattern made me want to cry. So I was like, right, let's quit while we're ahead. Let's be honest with ourselves. Because I do have a whip that I cast on in December last year that's cabled, and is a cardigan. Haven't even joined under the arms on yet because I think I'm just a stockinette girl. I like a bit of colour work. I don't have any colour work projects at the moment, but I like a plain simple stockinette. That's what makes me happy. That's what I enjoy. I don't like lace. It's fiddly. It uses my brain too much. I like doing other things while I'm knitting, like watch other things. Watching telly and YouTube while I'm knitting, and I can't do that with lace. It just, too much brain power. Didn't enjoy it. Maybe in the future I'll come back to it, I'm not sure, but this is what I've settled on with this yarn because I really wanted just a nice purple jumper. Don't know why, purple's a bit of a rogue colour choice, but I adore the way this is coming out. So for this I am using the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the shade Plum, held with Cascade 220 fingering. I hate that word. 4-ply. Why is it called that, honestly? In Mystic Purple. So these two held together, and they're such a nice combo. I didn't want to splurge for the Knitting for Olive Merino. Well, I didn't even want to splurge for the Knitting for Olive mohair, to be fair. I did buy Drops mohair originally, but that is like, it's like sandpaper on my skin. So then I just gave up and bought the Knitting for Olive mohair. So now I have 14 balls of purple mohair at the moment, which no one needs that. I don't need that. So I'm probably going to sell the drop stuff on Vinted or something. And then the Cascade 220 has the exact same specifications as the Knitting for Olive Merino, 250 meters per 50 grams. And I love Cascade 220, like the normal one. So first I'm using the 4-ply one, and I love it. It's just such a nice yarn. It's classic yarn. You all know her, you all love her. It's woolly, but it's not itchy. I don't find it itchy at all. And this is making a really nice fabric. So it's quite gapey and airy, but that's what I wanted. So it's supposed to be quite like a solid knit, but I'm knitting it at the same gauge, but which is 21 stitches? Yeah, 21 stitch gauge, but with a 4-ply. So it's nice and airy, but that's what I want because I do overheat in my jumpers. And I like the V-neck. I don't have a V-neck, but I like the fact that it's not really low V-neck, it's just a subtle V-neck, and I feel like they're kind of in at the moment. So I'm really excited for this. This is going to be my sort of main whip for the next few weeks. Let's move on to acquisitions or acquisitions / plans, because they kind of go hand in hand, don't they? My first acquisition has been this grey ball of mohair. Not very exciting in the slightest, but the reason being is because obviously I bought that ball of grey Esther by Permin yarn to finish my blouse number 4, and I explained why that isn't going to work. So I was like, well, I need to do something with it now. And I have this green ball of the same yarn left over, and this green ball of mohair left over from my poncho. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold these together, and I'm going to hold this with the grey yarn and make the Sicily slipover by kisskiss.rhinestones. Hopefully I have enough. I also got this, which is a DK merino in like a brown, burrow brown. So my plan is to use this yarn for the ribbing and then stripe the grey, which I obviously don't have right now, with the green to make the body. So I'm getting these 2 balls of yarn out of my stash. I know it's a bit stupid that I'm buying yarn to use up yarn, and the grey that I'd already ordered and couldn't cancel. So I'm getting 3 balls out of stash, kind of, and had to buy 2 balls of yarn to use 3 balls of yarn, but hey ho. I'm not really an accessories person. I mean, this is going to sound ridiculous because the next plan that I'm going to show you is an accessory, but if I can, I would much rather make a garment out of what I've got left over than an accessory, and this was just the best way to do it. So that's going to be cute. Dams and Madder released a cardigan in green and grey stripe. I think it was last autumn, and I was obsessed. It was beautiful. It was like £120. Couldn't afford it, wasn't going to buy it, but I never would pair like sage green and grey together normally, but after seeing that I was like, I've got to do it. So that was my plan. And my other acquisition, which is a bit naughty, I sat my driving theory test again this morning for an LGV. So I can drive a car, but I need to have a different category to drive lorries. Not that I'll be driving lorries, I'll be driving ambulances, but you know. It was my second attempt and I failed. My favourite yarn store, which is Manchester Woolen Yarn, is 3 minutes away from the test centre walk. So I had to go and buy myself a commiseration present. I was 1 mark off passing. The pass mark is 85 and I got 84 and I was devastated. So I was like, right, I need to make myself feel better. And I'm not a proponent of shopping, retail therapy, whatever. I try not to be, but sometimes you gotta treat yourself. So I bought a single ball of Cardiff cashmere, 714. I think this is the Scarletta colour, I think. And you're never gonna guess what I'm gonna make with this. It's a Sophie scarf. I'm gonna make a Sophie scarf because why not? I want a little skinny red scarf for the autumn to wear with like my denim skirt and a white t-shirt and then a little scarf, keep the neck warm. I'm also thinking of making these as Christmas presents for my mum and one of my friends, possibly. I need to be the guinea pig, obviously, and see if it's even soft and cozy enough. It's definitely gonna be, but I just thought, why not? I've been thinking about it for a while, and like I look on the website and I'm like, oh, do I, don't I, oh, do I? But no, I bought this. I've never ever worked with cashmere before. We'll see how it goes. I guess I don't really have like autumn winter plans yet. I'm a bit more of an impulsive knitter. Like I just sort of see where the wind takes me. I'm not one of these people that has like 4 things that I want to make. I just kind of go through, see what yarn I've got, see what I could make, see what pattern takes my fancy, go from there really. Thank you for watching my little knitting podcast catch-up. Let me know if you've been working on anything in the comments while you've been watching this, because I always knit while I'm watching knitting podcasts, and I really want to know if you've been knitting while you've been watching my knitting podcast, and if so, what? You've got to tell me. Follow me on Instagram if you fancy, lizzie.makes. If you want to find my Ravelry with a lot more detail on all these projects, it's Lizzie Muck, LIZIMTC. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day.